Hello everyone. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Indian Treasure. In this video we are going to review Samsung Galaxy M31s smartphone, which packs tons of goodies at an affordable price. Before that, please subscribe our channel and click the bell icon. The M-series range of smartphones from Samsung have mostly been considered the company's affordable offerings thus far, while the A-series of devices were positioned more in the mid-range. However, in recent times, the lines between the A-series and M-series have blurred slightly, with devices from both the lineups being sold in each other's respective price brackets. The Samsung Galaxy M31s, which takes over from the M31, is one such phone which is part of the M-series but is priced closer to the Galaxy A-series. The device will cost you Rs 19,499 for the base variant, which is about as much as the Galaxy A31. However, the M31s packs in some compelling features which surely make it a worthwhile option in its segment. It is a mix of some of M-series trademark attributes such as big battery and camera hardware from the A-series. The Galaxy M31s builds upon the experience offered by the Galaxy M31 and undercuts the more premium Galaxy A51 in terms of specs. Consequently, while the pricing has increased slightly, the M31s is a worthwhile option for users who want the best of Samsung on a budget. The M31s sports a plastic unibody design which appears quite premium with its glossy finish and gradient color. The phone is offered in two options, which are Mirage Blue and Black, of which I have received the latter for review. It is a kind of pleasant grayish design which becomes more prominently silver at the top, a nice finish in my opinion. However, since it is plastic, it can scratch more easily than glass, so it's strange that Samsung has not packed in a clear silicone case. There is no fingerprint sensor on the back, and instead, you get one on the side which is integrated with the power button. An L-shaped quad camera setup quite identical to the M31 is present on the otherwise plain back. The curved back panel and smooth frame give it a comfortable grip, although it is still difficult to use with just one hand, which can be attributed to the device's weighty design. The M31s is also slightly on the thicker side at 9.3mm, thanks to its beefy 6000 mAh battery. On the bottom, there's a 3.5mm headphone jack along with a Type-C port and a mic. The left edge of the phone is empty save for the dual SIM plus micro SD slot, while the right of the phone has the volume rocker placed high along with the power button. Overall, in the design department, nothing much has changed since the M31, except for the fingerprint sensor. As far as the display is concerned, you again get pretty much the same deal as the Galaxy M31, but with a slight change. Instead of the Infinity U panel, Samsung has opted in for a more trendy punch hole style Infinity O display. The bezels surrounding the screen and the punch hole itself are minuscule, which provides for an immersive viewing experience. The M31s has a 6.5-inch display, slightly bigger than the M31 6.4-inch screen, but has the same Super AMOLED panel at Full HD+, 1440 x 2400 pixels resolution. Now, Samsung has always been in the business of creating some of the finest displays on today's smartphones, and it comes in as little surprise that a similar, if not better experience, is offered on its own devices. The M31s has one of the nicest and most color-accurate panels in its price segment. It is vibrant and has a great dynamic range and viewing angles thanks to the AMOLED nature. It's bright enough to read under the harshest sunlight and goes significantly dim at night. I think you know the deal when it comes to Samsung smartphones and their displays, as they are almost always the best in the segment. A case can be made for cheaper Realme and Poco phones having a higher refresh panels. However, for now, it seems that Samsung is keeping anything over 60 Hz for its top-tier S-series and Note series devices. The Galaxy M31s borrows from its predecessor in terms of camera arrangement, but with a few changes in the sensors. The primary camera on the device is a 64-megapixel Sony IMX682 sensor instead of the GW1 sensor on the M31. The ultra-wide lens is a 12-megapixel sensor with a 123-degree field of view, while the other two are 5 megapixels depth and 5 megapixels macro sensors. The M31s takes some cues from the Galaxy A series in terms of image processing and color accuracy. In typical Samsung fashion, the M31s produces detailed photos with good focus and slight oversaturation. The contrasty photos pack in a good amount of exposure, and the AI scene does bring in more details according to the scenario, but at the cost of pumping up colors unnaturally high. As for the remaining sensors, all of them worked as expected. The ultra-wide lens produced decent amount of details at the center of the frame, but at the edges, the pictures get warped and slightly blurry. It was impressed by how accurately the color temperature matched with the primary lens, something that most OEM at this price are not able to get right. The bokeh shots were good, thanks to the 5 megapixels depth camera, although the edge detection isn't the phone's strongest suit. Something it feels that all OEM can do away with is a dedicated macro lens that has a very niche use case, and in most scenarios, the results aren't great. On the subject of night photography, the Galaxy M31s does provide you with a dedicated night mode, which is quite useful for substantial noise reduction and boosting the exposure of low-light shots. However, the ISP image signal processor can only retain so much detail when the lighting dips. The sensor requires the assistance of street lighting to get respectable shots, while the wide angle and macro sensors are not very usable at night. Overall, though, you should be getting your money's worth as far as night photography is concerned. The front of the device packs in a 32 megapixel selfie shooter, which is also seen on the Galaxy A51. It uses the same pixel binning formula as the M31's 64 megapixels primary sensor to give detailed 8 megapixel shots. You can also shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second from the front, which is not something you see in the segment. Selfie quality is quite good with the camera preserving skin tone and facial features, although it had to contend with the usual Samsung brand of over-sharpening as well. Portrait mode photos from the front were also quite good, mainly because the separation of face from the background is nice. Samsung is sticking with its guns on the M31s with the same Exynos 9611 chipset that has been making the rounds on several A series and M series phones over the past year. It is an octa-core chipset based on a 10nm manufacturing process and a base clock speed of 1.7 GHz, while the performance cores can be boosted to 2.3 GHz. Rival phones from the likes of Xiaomi, Poco and Realme use Snapdragon 720G or 730G or MediaTek G90T chipsets, which are more performance-oriented. If benchmarks are looked at, the M31s scores do fall behind. On Antutu, the device has a score of 187,331, while Geekbench 5 showed single-core and multi-core scores of 292 and 1,290, respectively. For comparison, the Realme 6 Pro has an Antutu score of 285,167, and Geekbench showed single-core and multi-core scores of 569 and 1,689. Lower benchmark scores are, however, not an indication of the smooth browsing and navigation experience on the device. You get up to 8 GB of RAM, along with 128 GB of UFS 2.1 storage, which also help in this regard. Your day-to-day experience, which would involve opening of multiple apps in the background or browsing through several tabs opened on Chrome, should not face any hindrance. Perhaps the only point where you are bound to face problems is graphics-intensive tasks such as playing PUBG Mobile. The game becomes sluggish at max graphics settings, and you have to reduce the frame rates to high from extreme to get fewer frame drops. Heating on the device starts becoming apparent after the 1-hour mark. The side-mounted fingerprint sensor is a good implementation, but the authentication could be slight hit or miss. Most of the times, the phone unlocks as soon as one hit the power button. Other times it takes a couple of tries to get it right, but in general, there is no issues with the sensor. There is also face unlock, which doesn't work very well under low lighting conditions, but is otherwise the fastest way to unlock the device. The single bottom firing speaker is not the loudest, but does pack in a healthy amount of bass and does not sound quite as tinny as many of the other phones in its category. Call and microphone quality on the device were up to the mark as expected. Moving on to the software part of the device, like all Samsung phones this year, the M31s boots the proprietary One UI 2.0 skin based on Android 10. Smooth sailing with the UI, simplified settings option, tons of theme customizations, concise to the user's needs, and packed with the usual Samsung bloatware, most of which cannot be uninstalled. Trademark M series features include a big and long battery life. The same has been carried over to the Galaxy M31s, with its humongous 6000 mAh cell. On the M31 you could find the same battery capacity, but this time around Samsung has provided faster 25-watt charging inside the box. Also, you get a Type-C to Type-C cable, and the M31s can actually be used as a power bank to charge other phones. Standard battery test, which looped a single video on repeat, saw the phone last an incredible 32 hours, making it one of the longest-lasting devices that have tested. With the faster charging speeds, the device also juices up faster than the M31 at about 110 minutes, while the latter took nearly 3 hours. There is no concrete reason for anyone not to buy the Galaxy M31s. The M31s gives you the Samsung brand name and good value for money too. Yes, the pricing has increased, but with it, you get an improved camera setup, a punch-hole style display and faster charging speed. The phone certainly undercuts the Galaxy A51 and A31 by offering largely the same specs at a lower price tag, which could result in some confusion. That said, if you aren't into gaming much, the Galaxy M31s makes for a great buy. Its pros are best-in-class battery, great display and daylight photography is good. And its cons are misses out on high screen refresh rate, not so great for gaming, and bloatware. So our star ratings for this smartphone M31s is 3.2 out of 5. Thank you for watching this video, so please leave your thoughts in the comments section. If you didn't subscribe our channel, then without forgetting, please subscribe our channel to get more regular updates. Please don't forget to hit the like button. If you like this video, then please share it to your friends, family and neighbors. Thank you so much, myself Michael.